Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. 3 W games here on Wednesday night. I'm taking you through the first 2 because I didn't even get lines for that Wings and Mercury game here until very recently. So I'm looking at Sparks Aces as well as Lynx and Storm, giving you guys the insights and data that you need to make the bets yourselves and taking you through the player props that I'm looking at as well. Also want to run through how we did on Tuesday night, bring you guys the updated record and go through all of that with y'all. So if that all sounds good, give this video a like. Let's get right into it. Before we get into the record, do want to let you guys know we're going to go live tomorrow. Going to have Prop Bomb on the show. We're going out there for the NBA Finals. Happy to talk a little WNBA as well, but mostly going to keep it to the NBA Finals Game 3 that we have tomorrow night. So hope to see y'all there, 5 p.m. Eastern. But as far as Tuesday night went, really annoying, man. Natasha Cloud, easy under. Not sure why we keep getting 19.5 PRA, but we're going to go under when we do. Stewie, under 29.5 PRA, only did not cash because she got an assist as well as a rebound in the last, 30 seconds before she got taken out for the game. It seemed like she wasn't going to play the fourth quarter, which is what this bet was based on. The fact that the last time these two teams played between the Sky and the Liberty, Stewie didn't play the fourth quarter and only saw 25 minutes. Well, she came back in for about 3 minutes in the fourth quarter to get to 28 to screw us on the 30 PRA. So we're going to take that hook and just eat it. But I mean, overall, whenever we see Stewie and this Liberty team playing a team as bad as the Sky, who are like historically bad right now on defense, there's no reason to believe that she should get a full workload, full minutes load. In this one, we were really close. The coaching staff got upset that they were only up 30, I guess, with 6 minutes left and put her back in. So we move on here to Kelsey Mitchell and just say, without Caitlin Clark, I'm not sure how good she is, man. Last season, there were a number of games without CC that she played really well. This season, one game that she's even scored 18 points since CC went down. That was 24 a couple games ago in an easy matchup against the Dream. Not a good look here, man. Even though she's been getting more than 3 assists per game with CC out, couldn't even get more than 1. And it came in the first quarter, but everything was messed up from the jump for the Fever here, who just looked like a completely different team without Caitlin Clark. And I'm not sure we can bet on too many overs for their players until Clark comes back. First game of the night, looking at the Sparks and the Aces out in Vegas. And I just want to take you through a couple quick notes here. The Aces won the first game there that these teams faced off, 96-81, as we know, Kelsey Plum playing against their former team. But really, the next stat here is what I'm looking at and why I like the Aces so much. I just like them to dominate the three-point line, man. I mean, they were 12 for 25 in that last game. Sparks, 7 for 24. Sparks are horrible defending the three-point line. The Aces are awesome defending the three-point line. That should be a big difference maker in this one once again. And I'm going to say that I like the Aces to cover the 10.5 points because I don't know how you'd be anything less than irate after they got waxed in an embarrassing way to the Valkyries. A weird game, right? It was like a noon start local time. So it was probably tough to get out of bed for some folks, but either way, 27 points as former, runner-ups, not champions, but losing in the finals. And then you're coming out to, against the Valkyries last game, the expansion team, and getting waxed. I got to imagine that they're going to take out some of that frustration on the Sparks once again. As always, going to be using Props Madness here on the show to share my screen, show you guys what I'm looking at. If you do want to jump into the #1 sports betting research tool here for all things hoops and player props, use code LYB, gets you 7 free days. You can try it out for yourself and then also get you 25% off for those of you interested in using this platform. But jumping into this Sparks and Aces game, I'm starting with Asia, man. I've got 3 looks in this game specifically. I think Asia, it might be a stay away. I haven't bet this yet. Going to be looking at it tomorrow. But 39.5, even 40.5. There's only 2 games that she's gone over that on the season, and one of them was the Sparks. And that is going to be the theme for this game for the Aces. All of their props are very high. In fact, I would say 5 points or PRA higher than her average on the season is silly high, but it's because she had 54 and the Sparks are not a very good defense overall. If you look at them down low, they're going to be giving up a ton of points in the paint, bottom 5 in terms of paint points that they allow. They also are the second worst 3-point defense in the league. Not that that necessarily helps Asia, but it does mean that some players out on the wing are probably going to be pretty open for Asia to find some assists that way as well. So it's a dicey under here, but I'm just playing the number, right? You can either play the number and say this 40.5 is too high. You can play the matchup and say, well, this matchup is really easy. I'm sticking with the number here and just saying if you bet under 40.5 PRA consistently for Asia Wilson this season, you're going to win way more often than you lose. So that will be the lean Asia. Pretty scared of it because of how we played against Sparks last game and how bad they are down low. Azura Stevens not going to be winning Defensive Player of the Year anytime soon. Jackie Young here. She had 20 in this last game, which is 10 more than average, but we still have her at 1.5. Still a pretty high number, although hers is relatively beatable. The bet that I would make, though, here for the Aces, probably going to be threes for Chelsea Gray. She's been taking a good amount. She's averaging 2 on the season, over in 5 of the 7 games she's played, and we can still get this at about even, minus 120, about what we call flat, essentially, minus 120 here in this bet for her to hit the threes. Again, this really just comes down to how bad this Sparks defense is up top. She's scoring more than half of her points at above the break threes, which is the case for a number of players here for the Aces as well. But I think Chelsea Gray is the only one I trust, because if you look at Jewel Lloyd, man, Jewel has not been good. And to be fair to Jewel, like, she's basically a glorified role player at this point, which is silly because last year she should have been a 22-point per game scorer, had a pretty bad season last year as well. Some of that to do with the Storm and their coaching staff, but either way, she's been cold now for a couple years in a row, and it's tough to bank on her doing stuff here. So outside of Chelsea Gray, I don't really trust these perimeter players too much for the Aces, despite the easy matchup. So I will say on the other side of the ball, my favorite bet for them is going to be Kelsey Plum under. I don't trust her to get 21 points in a tough matchup. I liked her to get the 24 against the Valkyrie. That team is very bad, limiting the three-pointer, that they sell out down low to guard the paint. Well, this Aces team, not quite the same. They're going to be in the tops of the league, limiting everything above the break. They're also tops in the league, limiting 3-point attempts overall as well, which we know is crucial for Kelsey Plum. They're third limiting threes overall, 3-point attempts, I should say. They're number 1 versus guards limiting 3-point makes. So I got to believe in their ability to continue to defend her. They're going to be at home in this one. Like I said, blowout possibly imminent. Another reason, don't like too many overs, but I do like an under here for Plum on the points by themselves. This game is going to be good. Minnesota at Seattle. I'm going to enjoy this one for sure. A lot of good players in this one. Minnesota won the first matchup, 82-77. I'd make some case here that the Storm have gotten a bit better, honestly, since that game as well. And it was still a really good game. Close wire to wire. Nobody really pulled away too far. And it's because it basically had like identical stats as each other. A couple more shots made for the Lynx was the 5-point difference. But a key here is that this is one of the few teams, and basically the only team, that has slowed down Nafisa Collier this season. Nneka Ogwumike played incredible defense on her in that game, forcing her to shoot like worse than 30% in that game. We're going to look at Fiza here as we jump into these player props right now. Let's go in order, as we always do, though, and I don't really have a bet for either of these players here in Skylar or Nneka Ogwumike. I would lean to the under for Nneka. If you saw her in the last game, her and Fiza really did a good job guarding each other. She went 5 for 14 in that game while limiting Nafisa Collier to a pretty low percentage as well. But the 14 shots and the low percentages here, I don't think it's going to be a good game for her once again. As we know, she's going to score about half of her points inside the paint, and Minnesota has done a pretty good job collapsing a bit more, especially this season, as opposed to last season where they were not quite as good defensively in the paint. And then we know you're not getting anything up top off of this team very easily. They are second limiting threes above the break. Overall, they limit 3-point attempts pretty well as well. Not that it's super important for Nneka. We know she's going to be trying to score down low, but it's going to be a tough matchup between her trying to get around Fiza and then also having to deal with Alana Smith, who's going to be out there to limit her as well. But I do like Gabby Williams in this game. I love Gabby Williams' game, man. And I think we all have basically since like the Olympics and since last season when she started to come on strong. If you can still get 21.5, go for it on the PRA. I'll take 22.5. Once we get to 24, I'm out. But 22, 23.5 PRA for Gabby, I still think we're in a good spot here. If you can't get combo props, she should be a 15 per game scorer. So 14.5 in this one. It's very, very doable. She had 20 in the last game there, 15 shots, which meant she shot 53% from the field, but just 33% from 3, meaning she didn't go above and beyond what she normally does to get her points. That would be my favorite prop for her. If you can't get a combo, though, and you'd rather just take one at a time, I do like the points, and I really like the assists as well. You can see now she's over in 6 of 9. Nice games on the season. And more importantly, when she's gotten the minutes, right, she's gone pretty cleanly over 31, 35, 30. The 2 that she went under, she did get to 30 in a couple of them. But more importantly, like in this matchup against this team, it's not necessarily going to be easy to get dimes, but it is something that I think she's going to do with the volume and the amount that she's turned into a playmaker for this squad. Looking at the links here, starting with Fiza, I'm not going to tell you to go under on the points. It's a difficult matchup here, but I think the rebounds are still going to be a really good look. She's going to be forced to guard Nneka Ogwumike, like we said, which means she's going to be standing closer to the basket when she's playing defense and is going to be in pretty good position for those defensive rebounds, right? When she plays against teams where she guards a smaller player, hasn't been the case quite as much for her. But in these last bunch of games, including that one against Seattle, she's been guarding bigs, and as a result, definitely in position to get those boards, especially with this game being a little bit closer, not really in jeopardy of her getting reduced minutes. Again, she played 37 minutes against the Storm in their last game. I would expect them to be up in the mid to high 30s, because unless this game is a blowout, like say the Phoenix game where she played 31 minutes, if it's close, I expect her to be in the mid to high 30s, which should be good for the boards for her in this one against a team that isn't terrible, middle of the pack rebounding, but two forwards, they're a bit worse, fourth worst in terms of limiting rebounds to forwards specifically. So I think the rebounds are a really good bet here. 10 plus is going to get you like plus 120, close to plus 130 if you can get it. That plus money definitely makes this bet worth it for Nafisa Collier on the boards. I think we got to keep riding the Kayla McBride wave. She's been hot from three. She's known to be streaky at times, but man, she's hit 3+ threes in 4 of 5, and we're getting close to even money for her to do it again against the Storm, right? Again, told you the Storm, pretty good three-point defense overall, but above the break, where she's scoring half of her shots and shooting a ton of threes, right? It really doesn't get down into the corner very often for Kayla, where this defense is much better limiting corner threes, not so much above the break for the Storm. So I think McBride over 2.5 threes is a very, very good play here to get close to even money. And the last look that I have would be Alana. Alana Smith, I think she's just getting disrespected, man. I mean, she's got 3 games where I guess part of what it is here is when she goes under, right? She only had a few field goal attempts even in this one game against Connecticut where she went under, only 1 field goal attempt against the Valkyrie, and then just 5 total here, 9 shots rather against the Wings, and just had a bad game. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt in that one, because when she's taking more than 2 or 3 shots in a game, she's getting 10 plus points, right? And we're still getting even or plus money for her to get 10 plus in this matchup, where she did really well in the last game against the Storm. Once again, Ezzie McBeggar really not looking to come all the way out to the 3-point line, where Alana Smith does a bulk of her work on offense. So really like Alana to be dangerous out on the perimeter, get some buckets driving to the hoop, as well as Ezzie McBeggar is not quick enough to stay with her. So liking the versatility from her in this game, and her ability now, especially by the way, now that she's finally consistently getting high 20s to mid 30s, as opposed to playing 15 or 19 minutes here and there, we can feel good about Alana Smith, the minutes. As a result, I also think the shot attempts will be there. And so this is a good look for the volume and the points that I expect her to put up. All right, y'all. Hope to see you on the live show, 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Going to be there with my guy, Prop Bomb. Will be on there to help us find some of these player prop bets for Game 3 in the NBA Finals. Until I see y'all next, happy betting.